Scene: a sunny afternoon at a bustling park. Manny Pacquiao is strolling with his wife, Jean Key, and their kids near a food cart. Narrator: it was a peaceful afternoon, perfect for a family outing, until an unexpected confrontation turned everything upside down. Manny laughs with his kids as they grab some snacks from the cart. He's dressed casually, cap, sunglasses, t-shirt, and jeans, blending in with the crowd. The family seems completely relaxed, unaware that tension is quietly building nearby. Officer Davis, patrolling the area, notices Manny. Mistaking him for a suspicious individual, he approaches with a stern expression. His tone is sharp, his body language aggressive. Officer Davis, ID and money now. Manny freezes for a brief second, then responds calmly, reaching for his wallet. His movements are unhurried and respectful. Narrator: what Manny did next shocked everyone standing there. He hands over his ID with a polite smile, maintaining eye contact but showing no signs of fear. The kids peek nervously at the officer, sensing the tension. Nearby bystanders start to notice the situation, whispering among themselves. Some pull out phones, sensing that something unusual is unfolding. Jean Key leans in and whispers softly, "Manny, let's just leave. It's not worth it." Manny shakes his head slightly. He refuses to walk away silently because he has done nothing wrong. His calm confidence contrasts sharply with the officer's aggressive energy. The officer grows louder, questioning Manny's presence, tone escalating as he presses for answers. The crowd around them begins to murmur, curious and uneasy. Some bystanders attempt to intervene verbally, but the officer ignores them, focused solely on Manny. Narrator: a simple family outing had turned into a public test of patience, dignity, and courage. Manny's response in this moment would set the tone for what was about to unfold. Engagement break. Narrator: have you ever witnessed someone being mistreated by authority? Share your experience in the comments below. And tell us which city and country you're watching from. We want to see where our viewers are around the world. Scene: the park. Tension building around Manny, his family, and Officer Davis. Narrator: Manny had handed over his ID politely, yet the officer's aggression only intensified. What should have been a simple interaction was quickly turning into a public spectacle. Officer Davis steps closer, his tone sharp and accusatory. Officer Davis: why are you really here? You're hiding something. I can tell. Manny remains calm, his voice steady, hands relaxed at his sides. Manny: I've done nothing wrong. I'm just here with my family. Narrator: every word Manny spoke contrasted with the officer's escalating hostility. Calmness was his shield, dignity his armor. Bystanders begin to record the incident on their phones. Whispers ripple through the crowd. Some people edge closer, sensing the tension. Others take a step back, unsure how to intervene. Jean Key grabs Manny's arm gently, her voice trembling. Please, Manny, let's just leave. It's not worth it. Manny shakes his head subtly, his eyes never leaving the officer. Narrator: Manny wasn't afraid to stand his ground. He knew that running would imply guilt, and he had done nothing wrong. The officer grows louder, accusing Manny of lying. His hands gesture aggressively, his body leaning toward Manny. Officer Davis: I don't think you're telling the truth. I could take you to the station right now. The kids cling to Jean Key, sensing the hostility in the air. Manny bends slightly to reassure them with a calm smile, though inside, tension is rising. Narrator: the park, once filled with laughter, was now a stage of conflict. Bystanders' curiosity was turning into concern, and some began speaking up. A man from the crowd: hey, he's doing nothing wrong. Back off. Officer Davis ignores the voices, his focus entirely on Manny. He raises his hand slightly, a threatening gesture, making it clear that escalation is imminent. Manny remains composed, his posture straight, shoulders relaxed, his calmness almost daring the officer to cross the line. Narrator: the more the officer pressed, the more the tension grew. Every passerby felt the weight of the situation, knowing that a wrong move could turn dangerous in an instant. Some bystanders stepped closer, phones recording, others ready to intervene verbally. The crowd is growing. Whispers of concern turn into murmurs of support for Manny. Jinky, Manny, please don't make it worse. Manny, I'm not doing anything wrong. I won't leave because I'm afraid. Narrator, it was a defining moment. Manny's refusal to back down wasn't just about pride. It was about standing up against injustice, in front of his family and in public. The officer continues to shout, clearly frustrated by Manny's calm demeanor. Each accusation becomes louder, sharper. His aggression grows, yet Manny's composure remains unbroken. A teenager in the crowd whispers to a friend, "Wait, isn't that Manny Pacquiao?" Narrator, even as whispers of recognition began to spread, Manny didn't rely on his fame. His strength came from his courage, his patience, and his refusal to be intimidated. The kids cling closer to Jinky. People around start muttering in disbelief, shocked at the officer's hostility. The tension in the park is palpable, like a storm ready to break. Narrator, every second felt like an eternity. Manny's calm defiance stood in stark contrast to the officer's escalating aggression. The park had become a silent witness to a test of courage and restraint. Engagement line. Narrator, if you were standing there as a bystander, would you step in or stay quiet? Type your answer in the comments below. And don't forget to tell us your city. You might be watching the same story unfold around the world. Narrator, stay tuned. What happens next will push the tension to its breaking point. Scene, the park. Tension has reached its peak. Bystanders are gathered, phones raised, whispering nervously. Manny Pacquiao, calm but resolute, faces Officer Davis. Narrator, the tension in the park had reached its breaking point. What started as a casual family outing had now become a standoff between authority and integrity. Officer Davis steps even closer, his face red with frustration. Officer Davis, I don't care who you are. You think you can just walk around and lie to me? I could take you to the station right now. Manny's kids cling tightly to Jinky, wide-eyed and trembling. Jinky's hand grips Manny's arm nervously, her voice barely audible. Manny, please don't escalate it further. Narrator, but Manny knew the truth. He had done nothing wrong, and no intimidation could shake him. This was a moment to stand tall, not just for himself, but for his family. Manny straightens his posture, his calm demeanor radiating strength. Manny, I have done nothing wrong. There's no reason to humiliate me in front of my family. The officer's tone sharpens, voice rising as the bystanders watch in disbelief. He gestures threateningly, hand hovering near his holster. Narrator, every eye in the park was fixed on them. The crowd felt the danger in the air. The potential for violence was real. Yet Manny remained composed, a pillar of courage amidst growing chaos. Some bystanders begin speaking up. Bystander 1. Sir, he's not doing anything wrong. Step back. Bystander 2. Calm down. This is unnecessary. Officer Davis ignores them, but the murmurs of support for Manny grow louder. The crowd is no longer just watching, they are part of the moment, witnesses to injustice. Narrator, the tension was not just about Manny versus the officer. It was a battle for dignity, respect, and courage in the face of unchecked authority. The officer, now visibly frustrated, shouts, I said come with me. You're not above the law. Manny's calm voice cuts through the noise. Manny, I am not running. I will not be intimidated. You have no right to treat anyone like this, especially in front of their children. Narrator, at that moment, the park held its breath. Manny's courage was not loud or aggressive, but firm and unwavering. His stance made it clear, respect could not be demanded through threats, it had to be earned through integrity. Jinky's voice shakes slightly. Please, Manny, just stay calm. Don't give him an excuse. Manny nods subtly, reassuring her with a glance, but he refuses to step back. His family's safety is his priority, but he also refuses humiliation. The kids look up at him, sensing their father's strength. Their fear begins to mix with awe, seeing their father confront injustice without anger, without violence. Narrator, The crowd's tension turned into quiet admiration. People whispered, "Who is this man?" Some began to murmur, recognizing the world champion, though he still made no effort to reveal his fame. Officer Davis glances around, realizing the eyes of the park are now on him. His aggression falters slightly, his confidence shaken by Manny's calm authority and the crowd's growing support. Narrator. In that moment, the power dynamics began to shift. Manny's composure, courage, and refusal to be intimidated had turned the park into a stage where dignity triumphed over aggression. Engagement line. Narrator. If you were standing there as a bystander, would you have stepped in or stayed quiet? Type your answer in the comments. And let us know where in the world you're watching this story unfold. It's spreading far and wide. Narrator. Stay tuned. The next moment will change everything, and whispers of recognition will alter the course of this confrontation forever. Scene. The park. Tension still high. Bystanders are now murmuring among themselves, sensing something unusual about the man standing calm before the aggressive officer. Narrator. The standoff continued, but suddenly, a quiet ripple ran through the crowd. Whispers began to spread, curiosity replacing fear. A teenager in the crowd nudges a friend, whispering urgently, "Isn't that Manny Pacquiao?" Friend. No way, could it really be him? Narrator. Word traveled quickly. Eyes widened, phones raised higher, and a new energy spread through the park. People realized they were watching someone extraordinary, a world champion, confronting injustice not with violence, but with unshakable calm. Officer Davis remains oblivious to the recognition. He continues to bark orders, demanding Manny come with him, his aggression unrelenting. Narrator. Despite the whispers and the growing realization around him, Manny did not flaunt his fame. He remained humble, grounded, focused only on what was right. The crowd begins to speak up. Bystander 1. Sir, he's not a threat. Step back. Bystander 2. He's not lying, just leave him alone. The officer hesitates slightly, hearing the murmurs, sensing the growing attention, but he still refuses to acknowledge the man's identity. Jinky gently holds Manny's hand, whispering, "Manny, people are starting to notice. Maybe this will help." Manny gives a small nod, but says nothing. His eyes stay on Officer Davis, steady and unwavering. Narrator. In that moment, the crowd's energy shifted. They were no longer passive observers. They were witnesses and participants in a test of respect and authority. A mother with her child whispers, "Is that the boxer? The world champion?" Teenagers and adults alike begin sharing the revelation among themselves, their voices growing louder. Some step closer to support Manny, while others record every second on their phones. Narrator. Recognition changed the stakes. The man they had once assumed was just another civilian now commanded attention, not because of fame, but because of the courage he showed in standing up to injustice. Officer Davis glances around, sensing the shift. The crowd's whispers are louder now, voices questioning his behavior, judging his aggression. Yet he still refuses to recognize Manny, his pride keeping him from backing down. Narrator. Manny's humility was as powerful as his reputation. He didn't need to reveal his identity to command respect. His actions, his composure, and his unwavering stance were enough. The kids watch in awe as their father stands firm, facing authority without fear. Jinky feels a swell of pride, her hand gripping his arm, knowing that Manny's actions are teaching their children a lesson about courage and dignity. Bystander 3. I can't believe he's just standing there calm, fearless. That's the real champion, right there. Narrator. The whispers of recognition spread throughout the park, creating a wave of support. People who had been silent moments ago now found their voices. They were defending Manny, not the celebrity, but the man who refused to be intimidated. The officer's face betrays confusion and unease. He senses the momentum shifting, the crowd now siding with Manny. For the first time, doubt creeps in. Narrator. The standoff was no longer just between Manny and Officer Davis. It had become a public reckoning, a A moment where courage, humility, and respect began to outweigh aggression and prejudice. Engagement line. Narrator. Have you ever witnessed someone gain respect simply by staying calm and standing their ground? Share your story in the comments. And tell us which city or country you're watching this from. You could be watching the same story unfold around the world. Narrator. Stay tuned. In the next chapter, Manny will make a stand that leaves the crowd, his family, and even the officers speechless. Scene. The park, the crowd buzzing with whispers of recognition. Tension is thick, the aggressive officers still refusing to step back, Manny standing firm with his family. Narrator. The whispers of recognition had spread like wildfire, but the confrontation was far from over. Officer Davis, still blinded by authority, decided to push even further. Officer Davis steps closer, his voice dripping with arrogance. Officer Davis. You think I care who you are? You're still under my command here. Don't think your fame can save you. Narrator. For a moment, the park seemed to hold its breath. Families and bystanders watched as authority clashed with integrity. The crowd's anticipation built. Everyone wanted to see what Manny would do next. Gene Key grips Manny's arm, whispering, Manny, please, just stay calm. Don't let him provoke you. Manny looks down at his children, then back at the officer. His eyes are steady, voice calm yet firm. Manny, respect is not given by power, and fear is not the measure of justice. You may have authority, but you have no right to humiliate anyone, especially in front of their family. Narrator. The words hung in the air, heavier than any raised hand. Silence fell over the park, as if the crowd collectively realized that Manny's courage had just reached its pinnacle. The officer's face tightens, anger and confusion mixing in his expression. He attempts to speak, but stumbles over his words, losing the rhythm of his aggressive tirade. Bystanders murmur in agreement. Some step forward, phones raised, capturing every moment. Crowd member 1. Exactly. Leave him alone. Crowd member 2. You have no right to treat him like that. Narrator. Manny's words had not only silenced the officer, they empowered the crowd. Suddenly, it was no longer a one-sided confrontation. The public, witnessing injustice in real time, became a chorus of support. Gene Key exhales, relief washing over her face. She looks at Manny, pride evident in her eyes. The kids, previously frightened, now stand a little taller, inspired by their father's courage and dignity. Narrator. In that moment, Manny's calm defiance transformed into a lesson for everyone present. True strength isn't about fists or fame. It's about standing up for what's right, even when fear surrounds you. Officer Davis hesitates, clearly shaken by the response of the crowd. The aggressive posturing begins to falter, replaced by uncertainty. Manny continues, his voice unwavering. Manny, authority does not justify disrespect. Everyone deserves to be treated with fairness, dignity, and humanity. Narrator. The park had gone from tension to awe. The bystanders who had once been silent now cheered quietly, their admiration for Manny's courage growing with every word. Even some of the officer's colleagues, watching from a distance, begin to question his behavior. The balance of power had shifted. Authority no longer intimidated, but humility and courage commanded respect. Narrator. Manny had shown that courage doesn't roar. It stands tall. It speaks clearly. It refuses to back down in the face of injustice. In front of his family, the crowd, and a hostile officer, Manny had made his stand. Gene Key whispers to the children, "See? That's how you face fear with respect." Narrator. The words, the calm, the stance, it was a masterclass in dignity. The hostile officer now faced the reality. His attempts to intimidate a man of integrity had failed. The crowd's support had transformed the confrontation into a public lesson in respect, courage, and equality. Engagement line. Narrator. Have you ever witnessed someone confront injustice with calm courage? Comment below and share your story. And don't forget to tell us where in the world you're watching from. This story is inspiring people everywhere. Narrator. Stay tuned. In the next chapter, the The arrival of a second officer will completely change the course of this encounter, and the lesson of respect and dignity will be undeniable. Scene: the park. The standoff has drawn the attention of more bystanders. Tension lingers, but the energy has shifted in Manny's favor. The crowd murmurs, whispers of recognition still spreading. Narrator. Just when the confrontation seemed to reach its peak, a new presence changed everything. A second officer arrived on the scene, and recognition dawned immediately. The second officer approaches cautiously, scanning the situation. His eyes widen as they land on Manny. Second officer. Sir, wait, that's Manny Pacquiao. Narrator. In an instant, the atmosphere shifted. The hostile officer's confidence began to crumble as he realized the magnitude of the situation. He had misjudged a world champion, a man known not just for his fame, but for his courage and integrity. Officer Davis opens his mouth to speak, but words falter. His arrogance melts into embarrassment. The crowd, sensing the change, becomes more vocal in their support of Manny. Bystander 1. See? He's a champion, and he's standing up to you. Bystander 2. You can't treat anyone like that. Narrator. The hostile officer's posture faltered. Every movement now seemed hesitant. The crowd's energy was no longer just observation, it was a force, demanding accountability. Jean Key holds Manny's hand, relief washing over her face. The children, once frightened, now beam with pride, seeing their father's calm courage turn the tide. Manny steps forward, his voice calm but firm, addressing both officers and the watching crowd. Manny, no one should be judged by appearance, and no one deserves humiliation. Authority comes with responsibility. Power is meaningless without respect and justice. Narrator. The words struck like a bell, clear and undeniable. The crowd cheered, voices rising in approval. Even those who had remained silent moments ago now clapped, recording and sharing the moment. Officer Davis shifts uncomfortably, realizing the depth of his mistake. His aggressive tone disappears, replaced by awkward attempts at explanation. Officer Davis. I didn't realize. I thought. Narrator. The excuses fell flat. Recognition of Manny's identity had stripped away the officer's bravado. The public had witnessed courage, dignity, and humility triumph over hostility. The second officer gestures politely to the crowd, signaling the first officer to step back. The tension begins to dissipate. Narrator. What could have been a humiliating, violent encounter had transformed into a powerful lesson in respect. Manny's calm courage had turned the tables, leaving the hostile officer embarrassed and the crowd inspired. Bystander 3. That's incredible, he didn't fight back and yet he won. Bystander 4. This is how everyone should be treated, with dignity. Manny turns to his family, his voice softer now, but full of meaning. Manny, courage isn't about anger or force. It's about standing for what's right, protecting your family, and teaching others by example. Today, we've shown that respect can't be demanded. It must be given. Narrator. The park erupted in cheers. Phones recorded every moment. The hostile officer, once domineering, now stood silent, a lesson in humility delivered without a single punch or insult in return. Jean Key and the children embrace Manny, pride and relief written across their faces. The crowd claps, some chanting encouragement, others recording clips to share worldwide. Narrator. This encounter was more than a confrontation. It was a reminder that dignity, respect, and courage can overcome even the most aggressive misuse of authority. Manny had not only protected his family, but he had also inspired everyone watching. Engagement line. Narrator. Do you think the officer should face consequences after this incident? Share your opinion in the comments below. And tell us where you're watching this story from. The message of respect and equality is reaching viewers around the world. Narrator, stay tuned. What happens next goes viral, spreading Manny's message of courage and dignity across the globe. Scene: the park. Hours later. Footage from bystanders' phones spreads online rapidly. Social media buzzes with reactions. Narrator, What began as a tense family outing quickly became a global story. Videos of the incident went viral, shared across social media platforms within hours, capturing the world's attention. Bystander footage shows Manny standing calm, dignified, and firm, facing a hostile officer. The clip circulates widely, drawing millions of views, likes, and comments. Narrator: the world watched as a man, unprovoked and mistreated, refused to respond with violence. Instead, Manny Pacquiao showed courage, patience, and respect in the face of aggression. The message resonated far beyond the park. News outlets begin reporting. Headline 1. Manny Pacquiao stands up to aggressive cop, a lesson in dignity. Headline 2. World champion shows courage under pressure, goes viral. Headline 3. Police officer faces backlash after harassing Manny Pacquiao. Narrator: the hostile officer, now under scrutiny, faced public criticism and an internal investigation. What was once a local confrontation had become a worldwide conversation about justice, authority, and respect. Manny addresses the public in a short statement posted online. Manny: no one should be judged by their appearance. Everyone deserves respect and fairness. Courage is standing firm for what's right, even when it's difficult. Narrator: his words echoed across countries and cultures. Millions were inspired, not by fame, but by the example of how to confront injustice with integrity. Social media comments pour in. Comment 1. Manny didn't need to fight back. His calm courage speaks louder than words. Comment 2. This is how every person should be treated, no matter who they are. Comment 3. Authorities should be held accountable. Respect is earned, not demanded. Narrator: the incident sparked debates, discussions, and reflections worldwide. People shared their own experiences of unfair treatment, inspired by Manny's example of restraint and moral courage. In the park, Manny's family embraces him. Jinky smiles proudly, the children laughing again, relief evident in every gesture. The crowd that had once watched in fear now applauds him, admiration glowing in their eyes. Narrator: what could have been a moment of humiliation transformed into a global message of equality, dignity, and respect. Manny's composure under pressure had made him a role model for millions, proof that courage is not about aggression, but integrity. The officer involved faces investigation, with potential consequences for his actions. Meanwhile, Manny's message spreads, becoming a symbol of leadership through calm action rather than confrontation. Narrator: in the age of social media, one act of courage can inspire millions. Manny Pacquiao's response was a lesson for the world. Respect cannot be demanded. It must be shown through actions, words, and moral courage. Engagement line/final CTA. Narrator: if you believe in respect, equality, and standing up for what's right, type respect in the comments below. Share this story and let the world know that courage and dignity always triumph over intimidation. Narrator: remember, a moment of calm courage can ripple across the globe, just as Manny Pacquiao's actions did, inspiring millions to stand tall in the face of injustice.